Hey everybody, it's Krusty Christopherson coming at you live from our studio. How's it going, folks? Well, I went back and took a look at this Ronald Reagan assassination attempt back from March 30th, 1981. And once again, this report starts out. This is Frank Reynolds, used to be on ABC News. He's reporting Ronald Reagan has been shot in Washington, D.C., outside of the Washington Hilton Hotel. And you can see the angle they've taken for this shot. They've gotten their 777 code in right here. 1, 2, 3. Once again, letting you know this story is a hoax. It's another order out of chaos story. That's what 777 means, as I've told you in my other videos. And all these major news stories all have the same code coded into it, letting the insiders know that this didn't happen the way they're telling you. And I guess Ronald Reagan was supposedly hit twice in the shooting, and they want you to believe that the Secret Service allowed Ronald Reagan to walk outside of the hotel in Washington, D.C. And here he comes. They want you to believe that they let Ronald Reagan walk out of the hotel and have John Hinckley Jr. standing right here in the doorway while these guys stood around with their thumbs up their rear ends, not knowing who this guy was. And that's, to me, that says it all, that they're going to tell you that Ronald Reagan was just allowed to walk out, and then this guy was just standing right here and started shooting, and they allowed him to stand there without knowing who he was, without patting him down. Total BS story. I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. And of course, we know that out of this story came a lot of reaction, problem, reaction, solution. Well, guy's using a handgun and he bought it at a gun show or something. I'm not sure where he got it. Probably that was the story. And that started the whole, I think you've heard of the Brady bill that was passed into law, and that whole started the whole thing of getting background checks on anybody purchasing a gun, making you wait, led to the law that made you wait up to, I think it's a week before you can get a gun, before they do a background check on you. And here's James Brady, supposedly shot in the head, and there's just a tiny bit of blood here. And looks more like he got pushed down and scraped his head more than he got shot in the head with a bullet. But who knows? I can see the story is coded, and they want to tell you that the shooter was some guy from Evergreen, Colorado, who had an obsession with the movie Taxi, and the character played by Robert De Niro, who was the taxi driver in that movie, and he was obsessed with Jodie Foster, they want to tell you. So I guess that's their way of painting this guy to be crazy. John Hinckley Jr., who was later found not guilty by reason of insanity and has been in a mental institution for the last 34 years, I believe. And I guess the whole reason John Hinckley gave for shooting Reagan was he wanted to impressed Jodie Foster and became obsessed with the movie Taxi. And I guess Robert De Niro's character does a similar thing in that movie. So they tied it all together, and they mixed the fake reality with the even faker reality and staged their own little version of Taxi Driver, whatever that movie was. And what's funny is the guy used a .22 caliber pistol, and very low caliber, and if you want to kill somebody, you don't use a .22 caliber pistol. So maybe the guy was crazy because he chose that low caliber of a weapon to try to kill the President of the United States. But sounds like a hoax. Sounds like a BS story, and they claim that this guy shot 5 shots off in about 2 seconds and was able to wound the president 2 times, once in the lung, and it got lodged in there, and his lung collapsed. And also, he got shot in the right arm, the president, which I don't see how he got shot in the right arm if he was shot from the left side. And 3 other people were wounded, including Brady, who supposedly was permanently paralyzed and was always shown gimping around and making appearances and doing the Gabriel Gifford routine way back when. I don't buy it. Another guy who survived a gunshot wound to the head, but they like to fake this stuff, and they know how to pull these off because the media is all with them. They control the media. Here they're all ganging up on John Hinckley. Here's the goofball Sam Donaldson back in the day with the toupee on. Nice look there, Sam. And they got all their talking heads reporting. Here's David Gergen, who's on CNN now. When he was young, he was a White House press reporter, secretary, or whatever. And here's here's a young Peter Jennings. He was the London correspondent before he took over for Frank Reynolds, and looks like they're showing some 7s in the background here. Looks like a 777 right there on the desk. I don't know if that's just some background clutter or what that is, but tells the whole story right in the beginning, how they start this story. The angle they're taking with this, showing the 777, once again a hoax. All right, folks, Krusty Christopherson signing out. You take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This is the 333rd post on this video blog, and for that, I want to do the Reagan assassination because of the time it happened at. It has a direct connection to this number, and Reagan also has many 33 connections, as do presidents. And also, this is an event from the past, but it directly connects to this president, Barack Hussein Obama, and we will get into that as well. So let's begin with the assassination, the date, the time, the location. It happened on March 30th, 1981 at 2:27 p.m. This was Ronald Reagan's 69th day in office, 6-9. This time, 227, is a number that's so often coded because 22 divided by 7 equals 3.14, the number for pi. And pi has to do with cycles and circles. And the elites who do these ritualistic events, from presidential assassinations to the destruction of buildings to missing flights to dead celebrities, such as Leonard Nimoy or Spock, who just died on 2/27, February 27th. It's part of the code. So, Reagan, March 30th, 1981, 2:27 p.m., he is supposedly shot, and so is his bodyguard, James Brady. The shooter's name is John Hinckley. We're going to break all this down, but let's begin right here with the date. March 30th, 1981. For the day and month, 3 plus 30, March 30th, is a 33. Plus the year, 3 plus 30 plus 81 equals 114, a number having much to do with assassination, just like 44. 114 and 44 and 411 can all be looked at as synonymous numbers. They all have much to do with assassination. Think about how 11 times 4 is 44. The date with the smaller method also has a numerology of 25 and 7. We'll talk about this number 25 in regards to James Brady in a little bit. Also, this time of 2:27 in the afternoon, another way to say that is 33 minutes till 3. 33 till 3. This is post 333. Before becoming the president, he was the 33rd governor of California. The shooting happened at a hotel, Hilton 33. Hilton Company is out of Norway, one of 3 countries with a 33 name in Europe. Norway, Finland, and Belgium. And with regards to 9/11, if you go back and watch news footage from that day, the mainstream media interviewed several witnesses at a Hilton hotel about the attack. Hilton, part of this conspiracy of 33, likely a hotel chain owned by the Gang of 33. So with that introduction said, let's watch the actual video footage. This is going to look like something out of Hollywood. You can see just how hoaxalicious it is. This is the Reagan assassination attempt. Notice how this police officer is all draped in orange, Truth Seeker. Probably part of the purposeful costume design. Orange is the only color with a gematria of 33. We see a lot of that in the recent beheading videos of ISIS, another giant hoax.
Give me a patrol car up here, officer! Now! Get it up here! We need a control!
Truth Seeker, there is somebody who's supposedly down here with a gunshot, and these 2 guys are chatting with each other. They're not even looking at the man who's right in front of them down on the ground. This is just like all the hoaxes when you pay attention. What people are doing, it just doesn't make sense. Where's the blood?
Get a patrol car! Hey, Joe! Get it out there! Come on! We gotta get this out, Kobe! Get it! It's out 38!
Notice how the men in the suits seem to be doing more with holding John Hinckley, who's supposedly back here, than this police officer. I mean, shouldn't this guy be coming in with cuffs, some police maneuvers?
Where's his weapon? Get out of the way! Let the ambulance in here. Come on, back it up, please.
All right, Truth Seeker, hoaxalicious. So let's get into the shooter and talk about James Brady. The shooter, we never got to see his face in that video. He was all covered by a gang of men. We never really saw them do anything besides surround him and throw him in the back of a police car. I mean, maybe they put handcuffs on him, but we didn't see that. So anyway, the shooter's name is John Hinckley. And boy, does he have some gematria. John, of course, is a 47 name. The word president with Pythagorean gematria is 47. The name Hinckley is an 84 name. And 84 has much to do with presidential assassinations. Abraham Lincoln from Illinois died on a date with a numerology of 84. In Hinckley's lifetime, he would be awarded with a gun bill in his name in the year 84. James Brady, who was shot by John Hinckley. The current president, Barack Obama has an August 4th birthday, and the name Obama with Jewish gematria sums to 84. On August 4th, 2014, James Brady was murdered. It came out that he was killed on August 4th, 2014, 33 years after this shooting. Again, 33 is a big number here. Reagan was the 33rd governor before becoming president of California. So John Hinckley, a man with coded gematria. James Brady, his life number, he has a life number of 33, also 77. If you did 8 plus 29, that'd be 37, plus 40 would be 77, like Knights of Templar. Washington, D.C. is on the 77th meridian. So James Brady, a man with very coded numerology himself. Again, this is the bodyguard who was shot, supposedly, protecting Reagan, and then lived the rest of his life in a wheelchair, as he's shown here. And honestly, Truth Seeker, what it makes me wonder, is this just a long, ongoing joke? Perhaps James Brady never really was in a wheelchair except for when he went on media for the photo opportunity, you know? You have to remember, all these people are actors, phonies, liars, paid agents. Ronald Reagan was a Hollywood actor before becoming governor and president. So there's the coding on John Hinckley, James Brady, the numbers we come to expect to see in these hoaxes. Again, James Brady was shot this past August 4th, 2014. August 4th, 2014 was Barack Hussein Obama's 53rd birthday. He'll turn 54 later this year. It was also the 9th of Av this past year, the Jewish holy day of tragedy. And with regards to the number 25, I wanted to point out that James Brady died 25 days short of turning 74, another very special number. He was 25 days of being 74 when he was murdered. And honestly, we can't feel too bad for James Brady. If this is somebody who's just sat in a wheelchair his whole life to play a part, to play a lie on the American public, you know, it's too bad he wasn't shot April 1st, 1981. I'm so sick of all these liars, these thugs, these politicians who just deceive us every day. How disgusting. I don't know how these people sleep. Here's the story. It came out that James Brady was murdered. Those were not the initial details. The day he died, it said he died of natural causes. Then it came out days later he'd been murdered. Amazing. Amazing how the media could report he died of natural causes when he was murdered. But that's just how it goes. And after they put out the announcement that he was murdered, there was no follow-up. I've been watching the media, looking for leads, looking for details, just nothing. Just how they mess with us. They know we're not going to remember anything because they bury us with so many stories each week. A quickening is on us. So looking deeper at Ronald Reagan, there's some really interesting things about this man. Of course, he was the 33rd governor of California. Reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor. Arnold Schwarzenegger in simple English gematria sums to 223. The number 322 flipped around. Arnold Schwarzenegger 223. How did the Terminator ever become the governor of the second largest state in the country? As for Reagan, he flipped his political party in the year 62. Remember, the word Mason equals 62. These Freemasons, obsessed with the number 33. Flipped political party in 62, became 33rd governor 5 years later in 67. Another important number, West equals 67. California's out west. During the Reagan presidency, they threw in George H.W. Bush as his last second vice president. He was prior the head of the CIA. Think about that. An actor and the head of CIA in the Oval Office. Who do you think had more clout? The Hollywood actor or the man working in the CIA? And of course, George H.W. Bush would become president after Reagan. As for Reagan, let's keep moving on. He died at the age of 93 on a very curious date. The number 93 is associated with the occult religion Thelema. The number 93 represents do what thou wilt and love. The word Thelema in simple English gematria sums to 64, just like the name Ronald. And the name Reagan is the flip of that. The name Reagan sums to 46. So Ronald Reagan is 6446, which sums to 110. Excuse me. Just like the word president. Ronald Reagan for president. I'm telling you, Truth Seeker, none of this stuff is a coincidence. People are picked by their names, their life numbers, for their positions. This is going on. Reagan was born February 6th. Think of 2-6. That's a lot like 26, the God number. 1911. And what do you see in that year? That's a date with numerology of 19 and 20. He died on June 5th, 2004 at the age of 93. Less than 4 months after turning 93. That's a date with a numerology of 15 and 17. The word kill with Pythagorean gematria sums to 17. Also, what I want to point out is June 5th is the 156th day of the year. You could make an argument here that he died in 2004, which was a leap year, so technically it was the 157th day of the year. But still, I don't think this is an accident. June 5th is typically the 156th day of the year. This is another day with important numerology connections. The word God with English gematria, that's where you multiply times 6. God with simple English gematria equals 26. Times 6, it equals 156. This is what God looks like with simple English gematria. Or with English gematria. If you write out the word 33 and sum it with simple English gematria, it also sums to 156. The film Truman Show about playing God was released June 5th, the 156th day of the year. The main character's name is Truman Burbank. The name Truman Burbank equals 156. And that movie is absolutely about playing God. And I'm telling you, the people who run this world, the Zionist Jews, the Freemasons, I guarantee you they think of themselves as gods. There's no doubt about it. And for good reason. You know, if I was them doing what they do, I might think of myself as God too, because look at what they're doing. They're controlling humanity. They have more control over our lives than we have over our own lives. I know a lot of people would deny that, but if you really think about it, there's no doubt about it, it's true. They've given you your education. They've given you your lifestyle. They've created the career you probably have. You are living in their world and their sandbox. You are celebrating their celebrities. For years growing up, it seems like you hear less of this now, probably because time's passed, but it used to just drive me nuts, especially during the Bush years, listening to people talk about what a great president Ronald Reagan was, the greatest president we ever had. You just wonder where these sheep come from. I mean, what did Ronald Reagan ever do? Trickle-down economics? We'll get into that. What a joke. You know how Reagan's presidency started? It started on the day that a hoax ended. And it was such a setup, because if you ask most people who the worst president is, they'll say Jimmy Carter. And if you ask these same people who the best one is, they'll say Ronald Reagan. And why is this? A lot of it comes from the Iranian hostage crisis. The Iranian hostage crisis lasted for 444 days. Jimmy Carter's from Georgia, the fourth state with a 44 gematria. He was the man for this part, and it ended on Reagan's first day in office. Think about that. The Hollywood movie star, the 33rd governor, comes in, and on the first day, he ends in a hostage crisis that the former president couldn't end supposedly for 444 days before it. But somehow Ronald Reagan, fresh into the office, just comes in and nails it. It's a joke, Truth Seeker. It's a joke. All these people are actors. Jimmy Carter's still out there, writing books, making political points, telling people to vote for Democrats, talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Just tune these people out. They're all paid agents, actors, liars. It's a big show. So here's trickle-down economics. This is a word I really hate. For years, I've had to listen to idiots talk about it as if it was some good thing that Reagan did for us. You know, it's just... But look at the gematria of trickle-down, truth seeker. Trickle, a 33 word. What else? Trickle down. If you want to use the K exception, this word becomes 62, like Mason, like the year Reagan became a Republican. Trickle down. Trickle down. Numbers we're seeing coded a lot. John Boehner, 33 days before Election Day, said that for 53 of the last 60 years, the U.S. government's been irresponsible. Just making up stuff by the numbers, throwing their numbers out there. So, Ronald Reagan, truth seeker, a lot of hoaxes on this guy. Presidential assassination, ending the Iranian hostage crisis. Remember, Iran is just a fake boogeyman. Might as well be the 51st state. You know? The fake boogeyman state. It in North Korea. So let's just listen to Ronald Reagan too. Let's listen to him tell us government is the problem on his first day in office.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. From time to time, we've been tempted to believe that society has become too complex to be managed by self-rule, that government by an elite group is superior to government for, by, and of the people.
That was the central idea that won Reagan the presidency, a warning he had sounded consistently for years. You can hear it here in the speech that launched his political career.
This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
This was Ronald Reagan's debut as the great communicator, the nationally televised speech.
This date has a numerology of 101, true seeker. What do you think of when I say 101? Introductory.
For Barry Goldwater that put him on the political map back in 1964. In fact, it was a speech he had been perfecting for a good...
All right, so let's just close by looking at the 8 presidents to die in office. Ronald Reagan was not one of them, but if you believe the hoax, he was nearly one of them. So he was shot in late March. In history, William Henry Harrison, the first president to die in office, supposedly became sick March 26th and died April 4th, 4-4. Remember, the word kill equals 44. Zachary Taylor was the next president to die in office. His reason for dying is still unknown to this day. Some people speculate that he ate, tainted cucumbers or fruit or vegetables or spoiled milk. I suspect he was poisoned with arsenic. Maybe it was in his cucumbers. Abraham Lincoln, again, died on a date with a numerology of 84. Shot April 14th, died early April 15th. Very similar to the story of the Titanic, began to sink April 14th, fully submerged April 15th. Garfield, the 4th president to die in office, died over a long span of time. Shot in July, died September 19th. William McKinley, 5th president to die in office. Warren G. Harding, 6th, died on August 2nd, 82. FDR, 7th, 8th, JFK. So the next president to die in office will be the 9th. And if you look through these numbers, almost all of them tie to the presidency of Barack Hussein Obama, who, like Reagan, like Lincoln, was from Illinois, or has connections to Illinois. And Obama has all the same connections in terms of numerology that we just talked about with Reagan. In his own biography, he states that he lived in the United States consecutively from the years 71 to 2004. That's when he took office in Illinois. That's a span of 33 years. He says he's from the state Hawaii. That's the 50th and final state. Only 3 states have a gematria of 33. the 1st Delaware, the 50th and final Hawaii, and the 6th Massachusetts. So, before it's all said and done, Truth Seeker, I suspect Barack Hussein Obama's name will be on this post I have on my blog. The 9th president to die in office. That's why we're studying this. That's why we're breaking down the history. That's why we're looking at all these hoaxes. Because they're done by the numbers. It's been that way ever since the nation began. Barack Hussein Obama's the 44th president. The first one to ever die in office was William Henry Harrison, who died on April 4th, 4-4. He was the first Whig. Whig equals 47. Republican with Pythagorean gematria equals 47. The Whig Party became Republican, and the word president equals 47. If you're sitting somewhere going, but Barack Hussein Obama's a Democrat, I'm just laughing. Yeah, that might be his title. But there's nothing he's done that separated him from a Republican. I mean, he's been a complete extension of the Bush administration. And if you're going, well, what about Barack Obamacare? What I'm saying to you is, what about Bush's expensive drug plan for the elderly that costs even more than Obama's health care? And when you think about it, it's even worse. Because what are we doing? Spending all this money on elderly people who are dying and trying to stay alive by taking pills that cost $400 per pop? That's true. There are people taking medication that costs $400 every time they swallow it every day, and these people are old and dying and don't need to be alive. I'm sorry, we don't need 80-some-year-olds hanging on because they take $400 pills every day that's subsidized by the taxpayer. Hello, wake up. I'm not a fan of Obamacare, but I'd rather have that than subsidizing elderly drugs that cost ridiculous amounts. And with regards to drugs, let's also make one last point about Reagan. What is his legacy? The drug war? There's more of him talking about trickle-down economics and the drug war than anything else. Two horrible things. And only a nation of idiots, which the United States of America is, would ever say that such a person was a great president. All right, I'm signing off. Until next time.
This is David and Francine Wheeler, Sandy Hook grieving parents who lost their precious child at the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, the biggest school shooting in United States history. There he is blubbering, and here they are showing off the framed photo of their fictional imaginary child who didn't really die at Sandy Hook. I'm going to show you the official version, then I'm going to blow it out of the water. You're not going to believe this.
This morning from Newtown, Connecticut, a special edition of This Week. Tragedy at the elementary school.
They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays,
wipe away the fake tear. Wipe weddings. Your tear. Fake tear. Good job.
And ask why.
This was not God's plan. This was a man who has serious issues in his life.
And now, as America grieves, how should our leaders respond? What can all of us do to stop this senseless violence?
I know what we can do, George Stephanopoulos. We can surrender our firearms to make these traitors happy. That's what we can do. We can surrender our whole country and give up, because that's what they want us to do. They're going to tug at our heartstrings now. Let me show you how they're working you through the media, the paid liars in the mainstream media. Let's get emotionally involved before I destroy these guys.
We lost our son Benjamin the morning of December 14th to an unstable, suicidal individual who had access to a weapon that has no place in a home.
So they're setting up the mental health
right
laws.
Now. Professionals in every area pertaining to this crime, from mental health to parenting to school safety, are unable to connect the necessary dots to prevent this from happening again.
So all the experts are too stupid to figure it out, but these crooks are going to solve it for us.
A far more comprehensive system of identifying and monitoring individuals in mental distress is required. It needs to be implemented. At-risk individuals must be identified and continually assessed.
The government's going to spy on you
by capable mental health professionals in a way that leaves their dignity and their self-respect intact. Most importantly, Databases of accurate information must be leveraged to allow identification of where the two issues of mental health and firearms ownership intersect.
So now they're going to call everybody crazy
There is
and
no
take away
reason
their
that
guns, and it's all
firearms
going to be in a big
registrations
database.
can't capture important data on all members of a household. They should be renewed regularly to allow for the fact that one's mental and emotional state may change over time. Thank you.
You hear that? They want data on all your family members if you own a gun. This is how they're going to strip guns from everybody. So naturally, Obama takes these guys on the gun grab roadshow to lobby Congress. Obama picks them up on the tarmac. That's Air Force One, the staircase in the background. That's Obama and the Wheelers. Okay? David Wheeler and Francine Wheeler with Obama. There's Obama's limo. Obama walks them up the stairs in violation of lobbying laws. These are paid lobbyists. These are not real parents of real victims. These are frauds. These are actors to disarm you. Obama flies them on Air Force One to Washington, D.C. to lobby Congress. Top of the screen in yellow, David Wheeler, movie actor. Obama steps aside so David Wheeler can exit Air Force One. This is completely illegal. These are phonies. These are frauds, as we're about to see. Here's a clip from the documentary. Okay, we need to talk about Sandy Hook. They sum it up, and then we're going to get into blowing the lid off this after this clip.
Francine Lobis Wheeler, mother of alleged victim Ben Wheeler, is a former personal assistant to the finance chairwoman of the Democratic Committee, Maureen White. Both Maureen White and her husband, Stephen Ratner, are members of the Council on Foreign Relations, and Ratner is known to have, quote, ruffled feathers with gun control advocate Michael Bloomberg, unquote, according to the New York Times. Francine is an actor and a singer who has performed such amazing hits as Jumping to Conclusions, Nicky Nicky Knock Knock, and I Can't Tie My Shoes.
Jumping to conclusions, jumping to conclusions, hopping up and down and calling paper cuts contusions. Raise your hands in the air, shake them like you didn't care. I tell you all in earnest, I don't have to tie my hair.
She also starred in the animated porn Mutant Aliens in 2001 as the voice of Josie. Her husband David is also an actor. He ironically starred in the dark gun film Faithful in 2001. Both can be seen lobbying for gun control in various mainstream media interviews. In fact, Francine became the first person other than Obama or Vice President Biden to deliver the White House's weekly address.
As you've probably noticed, I'm not the president. I'm just a citizen. And as a citizen, I'm here at the White House.
Many media pundits have claimed that the Sandy Hook characters were not actors or entertainers. Yet, throughout the past 2 years, independent researchers have proved otherwise. And despite their claim that the Sandy Hook event would not define them, the Sandy Hook characters have virtually given up their day job and attained a full-time lobbying position. From Delaware to Illinois to Arizona, the Sandy Hook parents have traveled the country promoting their agendas.
Here they come, making the rounds of the talk shows. Okay?
David and Francine Wheeler, I'm grateful to you for being here with me.
Thank you.
The Sandy Hook promise says this time there will be change, but there was no change after Columbine, Virginia Tech, Aurora, or Arizona. How many more deaths is it going to take before change happens?
Now I got 2 more clips here for you to soak up the BS.
Hopefully none, but that's not realistic.
Soak in the BS.
This is going to happen
It's going to happen again because these shootings are fake.
And
feel your heartstrings being tugged. Feel this guy playing you.
the number of deaths at the end of a gun since Ben was killed is an astonishing number. So
we got 2 more clips to show you how they're all in it together.
What we're trying to do in our small way,
We're going to blow the lid off it.
is approach this in a way that it's never been approached before.
Approach it in a way it's never been approached before. In other words, the government's hiring actors to scam you and betray you and psych you out and scam you out of your guns. They are waging psychological warfare against American citizens to disarm you and your family. That's the new approach he's referring to.
One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way. And just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way. Brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
On a very special Super Soul Sunday, they are Ben Wheeler's mom and dad, and I believe they are two great spiritual teachers. Will lift you up, elevate your spirit, help you see your own life differently.
I'm not done being Ben's father because of this.
For Super Soulers everywhere, this incomparable hour is especially for all of us.
Super Soul Sunday.
So Oprah Winfrey just told us that these are spiritual teachers, these criminals, these frauds, these traitors. We are now going to destroy this official story of this phony David Wheeler, this actor and his actor wife, Francine Wheeler. Nobody died at Sandy Hook. Ready? Keep your eyes peeled.
The worst grade school shooting in U.S. history, at least 27 dead, 20 children, 7 adults, including the principal. And the gunman killed himself.
So I was looking around at news coverage online, and I started to see this photo. You see this photo? Does anyone in that photo look familiar? That's CNN, okay? Here's Connecticut Post. Same photo, credited Chloe Poisson, McClatchy Tribune News Service. Connecticut Post, published the day of the phony shooting, okay? 8:42 p.m. Houston Chronicle, same photo, okay? Does this guy look familiar? Does this guy ring any bells? Winnipeg Free Press for our friends up in Canada. Does this guy ring any bells? This guy? Associated Press, same photo. Credited Chloe Poisson. Here's the photo, okay? McClatchy Tribune. Look at this guy. Who's in the middle? It's the Three Musketeers. Who's the guy in the middle, folks? That's right. Hi, Dave. What's shaking? How's it going? Hiding in plain sight all this time. Okay? There he is. David Wheeler. Played 2 roles at Sandy Hook. Role on the left, SWAT team, FBI. Role on the right, grieving father. Here's the photo. He's running around with 2 rifles. He's got a camo sniper rifle and a black AR. Okay? Here's another photo of him. Adjusting his helmet, sunglasses. Let's zoom in. David Wheeler, same actor, phony father of the phony fictional Benjamin Wheeler, who did not die. Here's the original photo we looked at, okay? Now, pay attention. I'm going to describe what he's wearing so you can spot him in some footage. I want you to pay attention to his helmet, his sunglasses. His long sleeve, light brown shirt is lighter than his green vest. Look at the flap hanging down in front of his crotch, the bulletproof flap. He's the only guy that I see in news footage with that hanging off his bulletproof vest. So you're going to be able to spot that, okay? You're going to be able to spot him at a distance with the shirt, the long sleeve shirt, light brown, and that flap, okay? Keep an eye for David Wheeler. Here he is. Where does guns go? I don't know. He had 2 rifles, now he doesn't, but here it comes.
What you're about to hear could be disturbing.
The first call came in from the school secretary moments after classes started. It gives an insight into how quickly the shooter, Adam Lanza, was able to get into the secured building.
John 911, what's the location of the emergency?
Sandy Hook School. I think there's somebody shooting in here. Sandy Hook School.
Okay, what makes you think that?
Because somebody's got a gun. I saw a glimpse of somebody. They're running down the hallway.
Okay.
Same clip. Keep your eyes peeled for the 3 Musketeers. 1, 2, 3. Comes around the Sandy Hook sign, looks away. Ready?
3
Same clip.
semi-automatic
1,
weapons,
2, Wheeler.
including a rifle.
Looks at us, sees the camera, looks away. Close in. Different network. Looks away. Does not want to be on camera. Slow motion. ABC News. Here he comes. He spots the tripod, spots the news camera, sees it. Oh, no. I don't want to be on the news. Looks away. He had to be here. Either he's blackmailed or paid or whatever, threatened. He does not want to be all over the TV news. He had to show up. He was paid to walk back and forth. He's an actor. Watch him look away, carrying both guns. Looks away. Okay.
We begin with the latest on the investigation. With me now, Brian Ross, our chief investigative correspondent. And Brian, investigators are beginning to piece together what happened in that terrifying 10 minutes in the school.
In particular, they are focusing on the weapons used. There were 3 weapons recovered, 2 handguns and a semi-automatic assault-style rifle that the authorities believe was owned actually by Adam Lanza.
And there goes Wheeler in the middle, walking away from us. They're starting to piece together the clues in the case. In other words, they're piecing together their BS story about how this crazy kid shot up a school because his mom is a crazy Republican gun nut prepper alcoholic and had too many guns around. There goes David Wheeler in the middle, same 2 guns, same shirt. This is how they're going to do it. They're going to scam you.
This is obviously a very sensitive story, and as we report on this, we're going to try to avoid running any graphic or disturbing material out of respect for the families.
They are not skipping the graphic material out of respect for the families or to save anyone's feelings. They're skipping the graphic material in the photos because there is no graphic material. There are no photos of 27 dead people shot to smithereens laying in pools of blood. The reason there's no photos of that is because none of this ever happened. Now, why don't they just fake the photos if they're so clever? Because they could do that with JFK getting shot because it's 8mm grainy old school film. They can't do that with 1080p high resolution modern cameras. Everyone's grandmother has a cell phone. The cell phone has super high, 4 megapixel, 8 megapixel cameras. Autopsy photos are highly detailed. They are high resolution. Faking that and fooling every nurse, every doctor, every surgeon in the world while they sit at home poring over this, studying the Sandy Hook massacre, the historic massacre, studying this for decades, they're not going to be able to fool all those medical professionals with photoshopped injuries on fake dead bodies. So that's why they didn't even try. They didn't even try to fake the dead bodies, fake the autopsy photos. That's why they quote-unquote locked down the autopsy photos. Wayne Carver, the medical examiner, pushed this bill to lock everything
Last
down.
month, prosecutors released a summary of their investigation. Today, police are releasing their official file on the case, including new pictures, video, and 911 calls. This all comes just over a year since Adam Lanza forced his way into that school.
Now, here's the phony, fictional, computer-generated Photoshop boy. The boogeyman, Adam Lanza. Adam Lanza.
Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's July 7th, 2016. It's being reported there's an active shooter in Dallas. They're saying 3 cops are killed, 7 more are injured. The first report was 2 cops injured, now 3 dead. Oh, now up to 8 wounded. 3 and 8. Remember, the word death equals 38. Dallas, Texas in gematria sums to 118. Also, like the word death in Jewish gematria. This is another hoax. I will do a more complete video when they release more details. But check this out. This is a perfect example of what's going on right now in Dallas. On May 20th, there was an active shooter reported at the nation's capital. You might remember this story, May 20th. Gunmen, they had to clear the Capitol, shut down the White House. It was breaking news. It was national news. The Secret Service had to gun down a crazed gunman. Well, they just released the video of this shooting. The video just came out. This is from the May 20th gunman at the White House. The national news just put this out in the past week. There's no sound to this video. Just watch. Your eyes will not deceive you. This might provide you with some much-needed comedy relief. It is embarrassing how bad this video is. This was national news. This was reported as a real shooting. Remember, as I continue to say, if it's national news, it's propaganda. What these police departments do is have active shooter drills and report them as real events, real threats, real tragedies. Check this out. Here comes the shooter. Notice how he sits up, and then the cop comes over, he's like, no, you're supposed to lay down, okay. Look at these guys. They're just doing their job, right? It's not them who makes the news. So you might have noticed there's no blood anywhere on this guy. He pretended like he was shot in the stomach. You give this guy a blood pack, the shooting would be no different than yesterday's Alton Sterling shooting, no different than yesterday's Philando Castile shooting. Both of those were staged events, drills reported as real tragedies. These stories are meant to provoke, instill fear. It is the Freemasons who rule over us, who control media, who control police, who have the mottos of divide and conquer and order through chaos. This is what goes on every day in the media. Lie after lie, and the reason it's unchecked is it's because of the people in authority doing it to us, you know? We the people, we don't have any protocol for holding police departments accountable. This whole justice system, it's bought and paid for, it's owned by this Masonic cartel. This is what they do here, though. This is a shining example. I cannot believe they released this video. This is all part of the mockery. The powers that be who run the media, they feel invincible. They know they have the masses hook, line, and sinker. They know they can even throw out this video and get away with it. This is the worst shooting hoax video to date. And this is the one that not enough people know about yet. This video needs to get spread. This was the real news story. They shut down the White House. They shut down the city for this. They told the whole nation about it. Breaking news. Gunmen at the White House. It's embarrassing, truth seeker. And everyone comes and goes, well, how come nobody ever speaks up? How could they? You know, you don't need to ask those questions anymore. You see why they don't speak up. They're collecting checks. They don't control what message gets out. Stuff goes on all the time, unchecked. Show you something else. They released the name of the shooter. His name is Jesse Olivieri from Ashland, Pennsylvania. How nice. Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House is at. Shooter in the hoax from Ashland, Pennsylvania. The name Jesse Olivieri has gematria of 67, like Freemasonry. Numbers coded into both the victims yesterday. Alton Sterling, 67. Philando, whatever his last name is, his name's 67. I already have 3 of these videos out. You can go back and watch them. And what day did the news come on? July 6th, 6/7. These numbers are always important to the gang because it's, again, Freemasons. Freemasonry has this gematria. It's propaganda for the nation. His name, the big way, is the exact same as United States. Ashland, Pennsylvania has gematria of 76. The reflection is 67. The big way, Ashland, Pennsylvania is 211. Number coded all over the Alton Sterling shooting. 211 is the 47th prime. 47, one of the most important numbers to the Freemasons. Words such as authority and president equal 47. This was at the White House. Remember, the Freemasons have Euclid's 47th problem, which is about establishing foundation. All of these stories are building an ongoing narrative, establishing the foundation for something greater to come. So I'll put out a video later on the Dallas police shooting. No doubt more propaganda by the numbers. Again, they're saying 3 dead, 8 injured. Death equals 38. Dallas, Texas equals 118. Death in Jewish gematria equals 118. They're in the news coverage I've watched, they keep bringing up how the shooting happened near where JFK was assassinated. And as I continue to say, in these ongoing shooting hoaxes, these ongoing race war stories, you saw the image, they said the shooter's black and he's on the run, you know? This is part of the race war narrative. They're going to say it's retaliation for yesterday. Guarantee it. It's all a contrived story. It's all propaganda. It's all by the numbers. I'll take it apart when the details are out. But please share this video. Please show your friends and family this ridiculous news story, this ridiculous propaganda, and just how bad it is. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.
And I had that for 9 months. I had what all of us in this business, well, not maybe all of us, but...
I've also asked the school board to make a part of every day some kind of anti-violence, anti-gun message. Every day, every school, at every level. One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way. Brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
But you mark my words, my mission in life, and I talked to the governor today, he called me, and he said, and I told him, I said, I'm going to do something, whatever it takes to get gun legislation, to shame people, to shame legislators into doing something about closing loopholes in background checks and making sure crazy people don't get guns.
If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have any of these pictures. I never would have taken these pictures with any other girl except her. And he did it to Adam, and I just...
And she loved her family so much. I just want to be able to touch her soul now, and I can't do it.
Thank you for being here. It takes courage, and we appreciate it.
I wouldn't have had these pictures if it wasn't for her. She made us take these pictures, and that's why I'm just so thankful that there are so many pictures of her. I've never had anyone who has wanted to create pictures like this for me. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have any of these pictures. I never would have taken these pictures with any other girl except her.
She was so loved by all, and I know, and my heart is broken, and I'm never going to hear that again.
This book that she made for us for our 6-month anniversary. Didn't have enough time to have an anniversary, so all we could have were month anniversaries. We didn't have an anniversary, but we had month anniversaries, and said that we were the cutest, newsiest, prettiest couple ever, and we are. She said we were the cutest, newsiest, prettiest couple ever, and we are. And we are. But I can tell you guys, it was a white-hot relationship. And Adam and Melissa's love was just as white-hot as mine is for Allison. And she did the morning show, and I did 6 and 11, because I anchor the 6 and 11 o'clock news, and she does the morning show. Made her breakfast. The last thing that she said to me was, "Good night, sweet boy." Good night, sweet boy. Good night, sweet boy.
Thank you for being here. It takes courage, and we appreciate it.
I wouldn't have had these pictures if it wasn't for her. She made us take these pictures. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have any of these pictures. I never would have taken these pictures with any other girl except her. I've never had anyone who has wanted to create pictures like this for me. And that's why I'm just so thankful that there are so many pictures of her. You know, we did things together and documented it. She was a great daughter, a sister, and a boyfriend and a lover, and we were betrothed to each other. We had just moved in. She must be remembered for the wonderful journalist and amazing person that she was, a daughter, a sister, and a boyfriend and a girlfriend.
Hey everybody, Dutch Sense here. 12:15 a.m. Central Time on Sunday, August 30th, 2015. And I've got you over here on a post that I made yesterday. And what we're looking at here is an actor who is, well, his name is Andy Parker, and he claims to be the father, and is the father, I suppose, of the supposed slain live TV reporter from Virginia. And he's pushing for gun control. So why do I have this picture up here? Well, he's apparently the main star of Les Miserables, or Les Miserables, however you want to say it, the famous play. And he plays the lead captain in Les Miserables. Miserable ballets. I don't speak French, but I'm butchering that for sure. And we put this out to everybody yesterday, letting them know that he is an actor as of 2013-2014, starring in theater plays, Broadway theater plays, as the main actor, and pushing gun control while having the guns, just like all these other Hollywood actors. And he's also a former politician. Okay, and just to show you that this comes from the actual actor's Facebook page, here's Brian Dunn, one of the stars, and Brian Dunn pictured outside of NBC Studios in New York. So I find it very, very strange that the gun control guy is an actor, first of all, just like all the others. I mean, go back to Roger's Retribution. Definitely directly related to actors. Either actors have the best chance of being shot in the world or being part of one of these false flags, or we got something weird going on here. And look at this. Not only is the guy an actor, but he's also a politician. Here's his Wayback Machine. Here he is, running for office. Politician Andy Parker. So politician, an actor, pushing for gun control, part of one of these false flags. What more can you say? I could take you down here through the comments. And we've got, people that are posting all kind, other pictures of him as an actor, okay? I mean, here's another one here. And this is part of a Picasso web where they've, of course, provided this public so we can show this stuff. Here's another one here.
Oh, man.
It's ooh wee!
Ooh wee!
Describe the crunchy new taste.
Ooh wee!
Joker's getting exposed.
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
There's nothing we could do. Our blood's...
Look who it is. Dr. Joker.
Brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way. Brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.